Okay, then here it was that they insisted on constitutional methods, whereas they insisted on extra constitutional methods, which would include boycott, passive resistance. This we shall be talking in the, means we have already spoken about it in the particular aspect of Swadeshi movement also, that generally whenever we talk about extra constitutional, it is going to include the various other aspects of what do you say, the Swadeshi, boycott, protest, strike, and but everything should be non-violent in nature. Okay, so that is the idea generally which is going to be there at that point of time. All right, so this is there. So just I shall give you 30 seconds to 1 minute to just remember whatever we are doing here. Means to just focus on whatever, okay, whatever we have done up till now, and then after that we shall be moving forward. All right, so that is going to be there. So I'm giving space also to you to read it up. Have a read of this. Okay. All right. So this is generally the aspect when we talk on the extremist and the moderates. All right. Now, just one another thing that I told you, that the extremist and the moderates. Okay. So I had I had mentioned that the extremists, they are generally from the time period of 1905 till 1911. Okay. When I'm telling that, does this mean that prior to 1905 there was no extremist? It does not mean that. Extremists, they were also there. That means that from the time period of 1885 till 1905, when the moderate nationalists, they were dominating the space, and when they were continuing with the movements, okay, so at that point of time also the extremists are going to be there. And when the moderates, they were following the 3 P's methodology, at that point of time the minority extremists, they are going to be telling that your 3 P's is not going to work. However, not many people at that point of time were following the extremists. That is why they did not have that much of dominance in the political sphere. However, post 1905, with the launch of Swadeshi movement, their dominance is going to be increased. But the question here is that why did and what were the causes for the extremists to rise at that point of time? Okay, so when we talk here, this particular thing, okay, we had discussed this aspect. Okay, we had discussed this particular session, and in this session itself I had given you the you know extremist phase as well. We had discussed the moderate phase already, but we have also looked into the extreme. I had given you this particular slide also. So when we talk about the extremist phase, what have we understood up till now is that the extremist people, they were yet prevalent even when the moderates were there, and they have been there in the Indian peninsula since long periods of time. The only reason, that means I'm not telling that moderates and extremists, they were not there prior to 1885. They were yet there prior to 1885. But when we associate moderate and extremist to the Indian nationalism, we generally associate it with the INC, okay, Indian National Congress. So here what do we understand is, even during the 1830s, okay, there is going to be some moderate people who are going to be demanding some, okay, some small reforms from the Britishers, whereas some are going to be extremists who are going to be demanding more radical from the British. Okay, more radical from the British. So moderates and extremists, they are going to be there, and one of the major categorization is going to be on the basis of the radical and the liberal demands. Radical and the liberal demands. So when we are talking about radical and liberal demands, here we are basically correlating this to digestibility. Digestibility. That means that the demands that are generally digestible by the general masses, those demands are generally known as liberal. But the demands that are non-digestible, those demands are known as radical. So the radical demands, they were generally done by the extremists, and they demanded those things that yet the people did not have the gut to digest. That means that because people were not yet aware, people generally believe. Now just imagine in the year of 1830s, or okay, I just told you, right, in the year of 1927 for the first time complete independence was there. Now just imagine in the year of 1899, if someone asked for complete independence, so what demand would that be? Would it be a liberal or a radical demand? Obviously, it would be a radical demand. So that radical demand, it would be given by whom? It would be given by extremists. But the same complete independence demand, when it is done in 1935, or let's just take it 1940. Okay, so that complete independence demand, now it is going to be a liberal demand. Why a liberal demand? Because in the year of 1927 only, people became aware about the complete independence, and over the years, people, when they were, when they were opened and when they were listening to that complete independence demand for over a long period of time, people were like, now it is normal. Demanding complete independence is normal. So now the people were able to digest that demand, so that is why we then considered it liberal. So the demand that was considered once radical had become liberal. So the people who were once considered extremists, they had now become moderate. So that is one idea. So when we talk about the extremism, my dear friends, so here what do we understand is, from the opening years of the 20th century itself, okay, the extremists, they had come into the limelight, and there were various areas from where the extremists were. For example, from Bengal, there was Rajnarain Bose, Bipin Chandra Pal, Aurobindo Ghosh, and Ashwini Kumar Dutta. From Maharashtra, there is going to be Tilak, Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar, and from Punjab, there was Lala Lajpat Rai. So these are going to be the extremistic leaders who are going to